Welcome everybody to After Hours Gaming League's tournament. We are in preseason week 2. We previously had a game between Kabam versus Curse. I'm not gonna tell you I'm gonna tell you guys who won. I'll let you guys watch the video. No spoilers. But we're on to our second game. It's gonna be After Our Aptimists versus the Boeing Company Business Class. And hopefully we get a great game. After Our Optimists, they're playing for Charity Water, and Business Class, they're playing for Doctors Without Borders. So, both these companies playing for a great cause, and hope we have a great game. So, coming into the picks and bans. Bans coming out from Aptima. It's going to be Vigar and Gragas with Boeing banning out Akali and Jax. Now, a lot of these are pretty, a lot of these look like targeted bans. It seems as though both of these teams have done their research. They just don't want each other on comfortable champions. Put them on something that they're not too strong with, and they have a better chance of winning. The Vi may just be a standard ban. Vi is still a pretty strong jungler. She hasn't seen too much competitive play, but taking her away is just lowers the amount of choices that the other team does have. So Malzahar also getting taken away, and I gotta say, AD Malzahar, while it's not played competitively, it does lead to some pretty interesting situations. I know AD Malzahar can actually take a dragon at level 2 when done. You just gotta get blue buff, and your minions, they can tank about 2 to 3 hits of the dragon. Then your pool, you'll do percent damage to the dragon. You can take it pretty quickly and without going too low. So taking that away, this I guess is just a safety ban. Looks like Igloo 15, he actually insta locked in the Caitlyn, so it seems as though he's really comfortable on that champion. We'll have to see what Boeing answers with. They haven't really hovered over anything yet. I can only imagine they'll pick someone equally safe, perhaps an Ezreal. And Ezreal will be a great pick against the Caitlyn. You just don't want to get bullied out in that lane. Or you could just go extremely aggressive with someone like Graves or Lucian. You just get up close and personal with her and just overall burst her out of that lane. They're not going to lock in their AD carry just yet. It seems as though they're going to be locking in that top lane Swain and support Blitzcrank. And it looks as though they had a pretty similar idea. Graves is getting hovered over with TF as well. On the side of Aptimists, it's going to be Morgana locked in along with Nami. So it's going to be Morgana in the mid lane and Nami in that support role. And that's a pretty difficult lane to actually deal with. Even if you are Graves, the Aqua Prison could easily come out, locking you in your place, and Caitlyn would win that trade. And the sustain that Nami will give to Caitlyn, it's going to be really difficult for Graves to get ahead in that lane. Especially with the Blitzcrank, he needs to be on point with those rocket grabs if he wants to get advantage of that lane. So TF has been locked in along with Graves. So those bot lane and mid lane have been revealed. So it seems as though Boeing wants to keep their jungler secret. We'll have to see what he ends up picking. Looks like Athos 19, he's been hovering over that Shaco for quite a while, and it would be really interesting to see a Shaco getting picked up. He's a really sneaky champion. When played optimally, he's so dangerous. A good Shaco is so scary to actually play against, and you know that rule. Shaco on your team will always feed, and Shaco on the other team will always carry. And we'll have to see if that will be the situation. Will Athos 19 carry the game, or will he feed? Looks like RVTR, he is the last one to pick, and not even hesitating. He hasn't really held over any champions, but it's going to be a Nasus in that top lane against the Swain. And I'm not too sure how that matchup's going to really go over for him. Swain's a fairly aggressive top laner. And that Wither, it's not really going to stop any of Swain's damage output. It's kind of a strange champion to pick into that matchup. He could try and sustain with his lifesteal passive. But Swain, he'll have some. He has decent uh, mana sustain, so he'll be able to stay in the lane quite a bit. Nasus really won't be able to be all too aggressive onto him. The never move will come out from that Swain, locking him into his place. Even if the Wither does go down, you can really just hope for the Spirit Fire to put some damage onto him. He may end up maxing that first. Well, that's really usually what a lot of people do, maxing that Spirit Fire, or you could I've seen some people max the Wither depending on the lane, but in this matchup I do think maxing the Spirit Fire may be the way to go. No, weird. So looks like Karko fan, he was the last pick, and it's gonna be a Lee Sin in the jungle. So teams have been locked in, and you got some pretty interesting team comps coming out. Blue team, they have a pretty decent there's some pretty decent team fight synergy going on. You'll have the engage from Nami with the tidal wave. Morgana will be comboing that up with the soul shackles. Caitlyn will just be in that backline hitting anyone that comes to availability. Shaco, he'll most likely play as the assassin. I don't see him going for the split push. They could actually no, they could easily go for a split push sort of thing going on, but you have to remember they have a Nasus on their team, and Nasus split push is pretty deadly. Let him farm up, and he can absolutely just melt towers. A double split push would be an interesting play to see in this game. The teleport from Nasus, just get to the team. Shaco, he has a lot of mobility, so he should just fairly join. He could just join his team fairly quickly if the situation arises. On the side of red team, though, it does look as though this is like that just looks like a solo queue composition right there. There's not really a set um, play style that they could go with. They have pretty decent team fight with the Swain, the Blitzcrank, and the Graves. Their pick ability is pretty decent as well. Blitzcrank Rocket Grab, Twisted Fate, pick a card, Lee Sin's Burst. It's there. They're not really too powerful. Their objective control is fairly strong though. They can really zone out people from key objectives like the dragon and even a tower. It would be really interesting to see. I gotta say though, the blue team is looking fairly strong. We'll have to see as we get into the game. But coming into that mid lane matchup, the Morgana versus TF, it just looks as though that's going to be a farm fest right there. Morgana, it's going to be so difficult for Lee Sin to, not Lee Sin, the TF to actually pick up a kill onto the Morgana. He can use his wild cards to just poke her down, but whenever he does try end up going for the kill, the pick a card, the stun, it'll never hit because of the black shield of Morgana. He'll never have any form of CC in that lane. There's nothing he can actually do. Morgana, whenever she sees the pick a card going on, she'll just use the black shield then. She can always sidestep the wild cards. There's really nothing she can do. Lee Sin, if he does end up ganking for that lane, it's going to be really, really difficult. And you can never underestimate Morgana. Countless times I've seen jungler ganks the Morgana, and they end up giving up a kill with Morgana still living. You can never underestimate that lane, especially and with Shaco on the other side, it's equally as deadly. Lee Sin needs to watch his step, get some wards around the map, and spot him out, moving between camps, so we can just kind of guess where the Shaco is going to be. If he doesn't do that, it could really just snowball completely out of control. So that was we did finish that 3-minute delay, and we are into the loading screen. I'm just gonna wait for us to actually get in. There we go. So on the side of after hours Aptimists, the top lane. On Nasus, it's gonna be RVTR, and he's actually the captain of the team. In the jungle, it's gonna be Shaco, played by Athos19. In the mid lane, IDGAF on Morgana, and then the bottom lane is going to be made of Caitlyn Nami, played by Igloo15, and Theogrin. Then on the Boeing Company business class, In the top lane, it's going to be Swain, played by Philomash. In the jungle, it's going to be Lee Sin, played by Karkofan. Underworld Twist of Fate is going to be played by Divine Tempest and Johnny Zero. And Jizz going to be played by Graves, and I going to be playing Graves, and I Blitzcrank. So, great game. We're just going to take a quick sort of break as we get into the Rift. Alright guys, I'm back, and that was actually a really quick break. I just didn't really have anything too much to talk about. I kind of finished everything. We are into the Rift. Teams have been loaded in. Hopefully we have a great game and see some friendly banner going on. Too late to bribe you with first class tickets. It would be interesting. Now, actually I would throw a game for first class tickets. Depends on where it goes though. Do I get to choose where I'm going, or are they just gonna send me to some barren wasteland in the middle of nowhere? It depends. I think you should give me first class tickets for a couple minutes and then throw me out of the plane, put me in the middle of the desert, and make me find my way back to society. It's a risk. So teams are out. They're out of the base, and looks like Boeing, they have set up a defensive perimeter. Some wards going around the river. Actually, just in the pixel bushes. Not too much vision being put out. There's that ward in the tri-bush of that top lane. I don't think they just want to spot out any invade that might come out. But Shaco, he should just take his buff and then back away quietly. Looks like Blitzcrank and Graves just defending that blue buff. Nessus looks as though he's actually going to give a leash over to Shaco, and Shaco doesn't really need that big of a leash. He can just go into that lane right now. He does have the flask and 3 pots. So I think he is a little bit scared of the Swain aggressiveness, buying accordingly. It's going to help him out quite a bit in that lane. We'll have to see how it ends up going for him. He may be a little bit He may be a little bit behind in terms of experience because Swain, he's been in that a little bit longer. He didn't have to leash for the Lee Sin. TF was doing that. And already the aggressiveness pushing Nasus away from the line of minions. Rocket grab just being missed by the Blitzcrank. He's playing to the bushes fairly effectively right now. He was looking for something, but he needs to watch out for his mana pool. It will be very, very it'll be very awkward if he gets a great grab, but then there's really nothing else to follow up off of it. Shaco, yeah, he's taking the blue buff, taking wolves, and it looks as though he's just gonna go back and oh wow, looks like he hasn't taken Grump, so he's gonna go back and he can't even buy an upgraded machete item. That's gonna put him a little bit behind the Lee Sin. Ooh, just take the cupcake. He's a little hungry in that lane. He wants to get fed. Looks like this top lane is pushing in. It's pushing towards that Nasus right now. He should be able to farm up pretty effectively underneath that tower, and it'll set up a lot of opportunities for the Shaco to gank that Swain. Johnny Zero, he is looking for a kill onto that Kaylin. Ooh, Dark Binding hitting the TF. Tormented Soul going down, putting a little bit of damage. RBTR, he's doing his best to farm underneath that tower, but Swain, he's not letting up the aggression. And another Dark Binding locking down onto Divine Tempest. Ignite does go down as well, but that's not gonna give a kill over to Morgana. I think the Ignite was a little bit premature. He could have waited a little bit longer, but pushing TF out of that lane is going to give her a huge advantage. You can see the CS lead already. She's 10 up. And here comes Shaco for the gank. Wither is on to the Swain. Never move, hitting both of them. And he should be able to walk away without burning any summoner spells. I like it. Cool, calm, and collected. Putting out the Never Move, hitting 2 members. And he can just walk away, let nothing happen. But Shaco not giving up the assault back in that top lane. Wither is on to Swain. He does use the flash. Unfortunately, a flash from Nasus and the Siphoning Strike is going to take that kill. 1 kill over Nasus, and it's looking really good. Oh my god, she used the 90 caliber net the opposite way. Aqua Prison's not going to be locking down onto the Graves. Oh, we had something interesting just happened right there. I'm not too sure, but we'll get back to that. Pills over Peacemaker. It should knock him away from that lane. There goes a Sonic Wave locking down onto Igloo. Buckshot and an auto attack is going to secure the kill. The Aqua Prison not doing enough to save Caitlyn's life. That was a great response by the Lee Sin. They stayed in that lane. I'm not too sure what just happened right there. Caitlyn using 90 caliber net into the Graves and the Blitzcrank. She really didn't need. She really misplayed that. Her life could have been saved if that had still been up or actually even used correctly. Bit of a misplay. It's going to put her a little bit far behind. She's gone back and picked up an Avarice Blade, so she wants a little bit of crit chance, and that gold for 5, it should help her a little bit in that bottom lane just to get a bit of a gold lead. Maybe she'll get a Static Shiv as her first item. And oh, Graves actually going for the similar builds path. Both of them getting Avarice Blade. That's a very interesting build path. You usually see AD carries that aren't Corki or Ezreal go for a BF item first, or Vayne. You can go. She goes for a Blade of the Ruined King usually. We'll have to see how that works out for them. It's just not something you see too often. Lee Sin back in that top lane looking for a gank. He's looking for something. Sonic Wave did connect, but RBTR, he should just be able to get out of that lane. Meanwhile, in that mid lane, Soul Shackles was used by Morgana after the Dark Binding landed onto TF. He hasn't died yet, but he is getting pretty low. He needs to watch out. He needs to just sidestep those bindings. They're really the slowest moving skill shot, and I'm not saying that it's easy to dodge, but he just needs to watch his positioning in that lane, otherwise he could end up dying. Another never move, locking down onto RVTR. He's looking pretty desperate. Swain, she just hit level 6, so, and with an Ignite, it'd be a very easy kill to look forward to. RVTR, though, still has the Flask. I gotta say, he's been sustaining that lane fairly well. 2 pots still, and a Flask, and picking up a Spectre's Cow, it's just gonna help him so much, sustaining in that lane. Let's look at that Siphoning Strike stacks. He's about 81 right now. 81 at 750 minutes. It's a pretty good amount. We could just be seeing that spiking later on into the game. Lee Sin, she's taken fairly low against the red buff. Is he actually going to die? Let's actually check that out. He's so low, and oh no! He doesn't. He doesn't die. He had a pot to keep himself alive. Looks like he's actually gone for a Poacher's Knife. He wants to be really aggressive onto this Shaco, but he really needs to dive a lot. Oh, Shaco catching out TF. He's diving underneath the tower, though. He's so low, and a kill for a kill in that mid lane. Looks like Johnny Zero, he's taken solo as well. Caitlyn, he's looking for the kill, leaving Graves alone. This fight actually may go over to the Caitlyn. One more auto attack, it's going to secure the kill. But the minions, they're doing so much damage. You can't stand in the minion wave and auto attack the enemy AD carry. You're going to die. 1 for 1 in the mid lane and a 1 for 1 in the bottom lane. And alright, so let's go over to that mid lane first. Shaco looking for the dive. He had the Ignite onto TF. This kill was secured, but he stayed underneath the tower a little bit too long, and he died because of it. Then in that bottom lane, Caitlyn should have just ignored the Blitzcrank. Let him get away. You have an easy kill on the AD carry in a 2v1 situation. You're being healed up by the Nami, but she was a little bit too greedy. And Graves, after getting a couple of extra auto attacks on to the Caitlyn, she died because of it. She was standing in the middle of the enemy minion wave, and you really can't do that this early into the game. Graves with 2 kills under his belt. He's gone back and picked up a pickaxe and boots of speed. Caitlyn, thinking likewise, has her own pickaxe. Shaco looking for the gank, using the Shiv just to get a bit of a slow. He's going to back away from that lane. There is a ward placed by Swain in that river, so he's going to be ganking solely through the lane if he wants to even hope for a kill. Will Lee Sin actually give over this blue buff to the TF? No, he doesn't actually. He's taking it for himself. It's not a terrible call, but you really just want to give over blue buff to your mid laner. Now Morgana spotting out the dragon. Here comes the teleport from Nasus. This is going to be a hectic fight. Dragon's Rage was used, but Morgana was already black shielded. Graves, now he's in a bad position. Caitlyn is level 6 right now. The Tidecaller's Blessing is onto Caitlyn. And blue team, after taking advantage of the fact that red team was, like, there weren't enough members to do the dragon, they take a kill onto Lee Sin, and they take the dragon. It's looking really good for them. They're up 1,000 gold. And if we look at the CS, almost all the lanes are winning in CS, if barely, in the mid and bot lane. Top lane, that Nasus, he's up about 10, 13. In the mid lane and bottom lane, it's not so much 10 on Morgana, like 4 onto the Caitlyn. It's looking really good. TF really just needs to push that lane out and help the rest of his lanes. They're not doing so well for themselves. Look at this bottom lane. Caitlyn and Nami, they're pushed up way too far, and a gate would really just set them so far behind. Graves is so powerful right now. With the pickaxe and an Avarice Blade, they just need to catch someone out. Looks like TF, he's been caught out by the Shaco. The wild card was dodged because of the Shaco ultimate, and you know what? There's a kill. Shaco picked up a kill on to the TF. Rocket Grab locking down Nami in a buckshot. No! Looks like Blitzcrank actually taking the kill for himself. I'm not too sure why he did that. The kill was secured, but I guess he just wanted to get that one last auto attack, and taking the kill from the AD carry. I'm not too sure. Well, a little bit of extra gold in his pocket isn't always a bad thing. He should be able to pick up a Sightstone even quicker now. He's actually opted for a Tear of the Goddess, so he just wants to get a little bit of extra tankiness from his passive. He's gone back, picked up a Sightstone, but you know, Nami and Blitzcrank, I'll get back to that. We do have a bit of a duel, just some auto attacks. I don't think that a kill is going to be traded now. But Nami and Blitzcrank, they both have Sightstone, but they've yet to upgrade their warding trinket into a sweeper. In that top lane, Shaco gets a gank onto that Swain, but Flash was used. Rocket Grab locking down onto Nami along with the Tidal Wave. The collateral damage is not going to secure the kill. And Graves, he's just going to back away and farm underneath that. Spirit Fire being used by the Swain. There goes the Shaco, trying to use the Deceive, looking for the kill. TF using the Flash and the pick a card. He's looking for the kill. Ignite is on Shaco. They have vision of him, and he's actually going to fall. Swain, he needs to be careful. The Siphoning Strike is doing so much damage. There goes the Dark Binding, sniping a kill onto the Lee Sin. And it's looking really good for the Aptimists team right now. TF making his way back down to that mid lane after that one kill onto Shaco. Morgana now trading places with the TF. She's headed towards that top lane. She's looking for that kill. Will she be able to get it though? She does. Dark Binding lands, and the Tormented Sword, that's going to secure the kill. 300 gold over to Morgana. She's 3-0. That's going to be a huge force in these mid-game team fights. She's going to cause such havoc. Buckshot along with the smoke screen being used by the Graves. Rocket Grab sidestep by the Nami, flashed by Caitlyn actually. She's out of mana now, so she can't really use any of her abilities. Pillar Peacemaker not going to be used in Ace of the Hole. Even if they do get low enough, that can't be used either. Graves, he has the Zeal right now, so they have an item advantage. But I gotta say, this build from the Graves, we'll get back to that. TF actually dying. Soul Shackle's being used to get the slow and Dark Binding for the lockdown. Another kill onto Morgana. It's looking really good in that mid lane. Top lane, Nasus should be able to take that tower down. Sonic Wave being used by Lee Sin, but he's way too scared to actually jump in. He hasn't upgraded his Poacher's Knife yet. He really does need to get a little bit of extra AD to provide some form of presence in the team fight. He has the Longsword, but is he going to upgrade that into the Brutalizer for the Warrior enchantment? We'll have to see. Shaco, he's hanging around that River Bush. I don't know if he's going to want to look for Tower Dive onto the Graves Blitzcrank. Morgana, she is in the bot lane, but she's gonna get grabbed by the Blitzcrank. She'll be able to walk away with the black shield on her, but you know, it doesn't stop any of the CC that already happened. Graves, he's being so aggressive. Here comes the gate from TF, looking for the gank, gets the stun card onto Morgana. The tidal wave gonna be used. Rocket grab onto Nami. She's gonna be a bit of a kill onto TF. He was way too low, and Blitzcrank taking the kill. Graves, a kill onto the Caitlyn. That's a 3-for-1 in that bottom lane. Here comes the teleport from Nasus. Blitzcrank and Graves should be able to go away. Flash used by the Nasus along with the Waver. Siphoning Strike being used. I'm not too sure if that Rocket grab would have been the greatest idea. Fury the Sands being used by Nasus. Oh, just popping that. I guess, just, you know, hey, I'm a big bad dog. Get away. Get out of my lane. He has set up his doghouse in that bottom lane, and he'll be farming up right there. Swain, with the absence of Nasus though, he should be able to take that top lane tower down. There's not too much they can do. The minion wave, actually no, he might not be able to take it. Will he? Yeah, he should be able to take it. Swain's got that tower. He's got the tower. And you know what? He's still quite a bit behind in terms of CS compared to Nasus, about 22. But he'll provide a bigger presence. He'll be a bigger presence in the mid game. Nasus only has the 1 kill and 1 assist. And if we look at his Siphoning Strike stacks, it's at 231. That's actually a great milestone for him to be at right now. Usually around the 20-minute mark, you get around 250, close to 300. So he's looking really good. We'll have to see. Swain though, picking up a kill into that tower to retaliate his own tower falling down. Soul Shackle is being used by Morgana. It's gonna get the stun. The stun card not being used. Tormented Soil taking TF so low. She really should have just waited to get the Soul Shackles and then shoot out the Dark Binding. That she would have just secured the kill right there. This way, TF, he lives and he'll be able to go back. He has a Lich Bane right now, so he has hit a big power spike. Dragon is live. Dragon is live, and that's going to be the next point of contention for both of these teams. Nasus in that top lane without a teleport. They're going to send TF to answer that. Sonic Wave, ooh, looks like Lee Sin. He's being really aggressive, and you know what? He can actually do that. There's not too much. Rocket grab, locking down onto Blitzcrank. He's trying to get away. Buckshot and collateral damage being used, but it's not going to secure the kill. There's 4 members. Lee Sin being so aggressive. Sonic Wave was used, but it didn't hit. TF and Nasus still in that top lane. Sending TF to that top lane is actually a great call. He'll be able to get to the fight a lot quicker than him, especially because Nasus doesn't have teleports. But it's just a really risky call. With 4 members still in that bottom lane, 1 each in that top red team. The Boeing, they're looking for this dragon. They take the Scuttle Crab. They do have the vision around the area, but they need sweepers. They need to deny vision. They need pink wards as well. And that's something that neither of these teams have really considered buying yet. Graves and Swain, they're in that mid lane. They're just going to push it out, but the minion wave isn't that big enough to actually pose a bit of a threat. Ooh, Rocket Grab almost hitting that Shaco. That would have been a really great situation for the Boeing team. They're pushing After Hours off of this dragon. Rocket Grab locking down onto Nami. The Never Move is not going to hit. Soul Chains being used. It's going to lock down onto Swain. That's a kill onto the Morgana. They're getting away. Tidal Wave, it's almost off a cooldown for Nami. It should be up fairly soon. Lee Sin, he's so low. There's a wild cards. Oh, being missed by TF point blank. Even when Shaco was stunned. There goes the Rocket Grab, picking up a kill onto Nami. But I don't think they'll be able to stop this. Oh my god, the Shaco box picking up a kill onto the Lee Sin. And blue team, the After Hours Optimists, they pick up the second dragon for themselves. Right under Boeing's nose. They had the advantage. They had the ward control, but they just Blitzcrank being way too aggressive with only Swain to back him up. It really just put them in a really difficult situation. And then Morgana, she's so powerful right now. She has a Rabadon's death tap. She doesn't even worry about Azanya's. They know that they can't take her down. If the rest of her team is there, she's not scared. She'll get a Rabadon's death cap, and her AP is just gonna be off the charts from now on. Let's look at that. Yeah, 392 AP. Oh well, she actually just picked up another needlessly large rod, so that will most likely be turned into Azanya's hourglass. TF yet to upgrade that poacher's knife. Not too sure. He's actually gotten a Tiamat now. A glass cannon build would be very interesting to see. He's not doing so well for himself, and his team really does need a bit of tankiness right now, especially with Morgana being so fed, Shaco a huge threat right now. He has the Bilgewater colors in his inventory. That'll be turned to a Blade of the Ruined King. And then Nasus, we'll get back to that. There goes the smoke screen. He's looking for the kill. Rocket Grab hitting the Caitlyn. That's a kill onto the Graves. Here comes the flash by Nasus along with the Wyvern. He's going to go down with Morgana, locking him down with the Dark Binding. For some reason, I thought it was Black Binding. But, yeah. And TF actually, he's actually gotten a CS lead in that lane. With Morgana roaming around quite a bit. There goes the Dark Binding onto Blitzcrank along with the Soul Shackles. They're actually going to give that kill over to the Morgana. That bottom lane, outer tower, it should fall. It's actually, yep, there it is. Finally falling. Let's see what the Boeing team has to answer this. Swain and TF, they're in that mid lane. TF with the Lichbane should be melting these towers down fairly quickly, and there it goes. A tower for a tower. Inner for an inner. And no, they're not going to go off into TF. They're just going to let him go. Let's look at that. Let's actually look at the gold lead right now. In that top lane, Nasus has a very sizable gold lead. About 2,000 on that Swain. Shaco about 1,000 up onto the Lee Sin. And, you know, TF, he is doing very well for himself. And a lot of it has to do with his passive. Despite being down 4 kills in that lane, he's up about 20 CS. And the passive is keeping him fairly even with Morgana. In that bottom lane, Graves, he's ahead of Caitlyn by about 1,300. So, it's a fairly even matchup right now. And the gold, sure, it's only about 1,000, maybe even 2,500, 1,500, and that's just really because of the two dragons that Aptimists has over Boeing. If Boeing can just manage to get these objectives locked down, it could turn into a huge advantage for them. They're so powerful at the moment, but they don't even know it. They're just, the Morgana that's just a huge threat. They need to take down Morgana before she finally gets the Zanyas. Once she gets the Zanyas, the Soul Chains are going to be a huge threat in any team fight. Dragon's up in about 1 minute and 40 seconds. There really does need to be sweepers on the side of Boeing, and Graves, he has that pink ward, so it's going for them. They have the pink ward going for them, but that's only one ward every minute 20 seconds. That's only one ward every 2 minutes. They need to just deny vision, and they're really not doing that effectively. They have 2 side stones, one on Blitzcrank and one on Lee Sin, but I'm just like being really repetitive right now. Looks like Boeing, they're hanging around the Dragon Pit. Swain just, taking the Dark Binding for his team. Ward's being put in down. Nasus doesn't have teleport up, so if he wants his team to be able to fight for this effectively or safely, he needs to be there. Shaco now spotting out the Graves. Swain is taken so low, and Swain was actually taken down by the Shaco. Soul Chains getting a stun up onto the Blitzcrank. Lee Sin is actually only locked down by the Dark Binding. That's a 1-for-1 right now. Jungler for the top laner. It's looking really good. Red team, they can take this dragon down after this tower. Lee Sin, he's taking so much damage though. He's actually gonna flash away. He's gonna flash away from the tower, and can they actually go for this anymore? They got the jungler down, but Nasus in that top lane, that's gonna force the gate out of TF. Lee Sin, he's gonna go back. Dragon has just spawned. And blue team, this after hours Aptimists, they could be headed towards that position as we speak. TF, he doesn't have his gate anymore. Nasus, his teleport should be up fairly shortly. TF has to make his way down to that bottom side right now. Kaylin is just sitting on a ward. And there it is, Aptimists. They're starting the dragon. They see Swain getting caught out. They have some form of vision control, but it's really not where they want it to be. If Boeing engages the fight right now, they could probably win with Nasus not there. He's using the teleport, and Kaylin getting caught out. The flash from Nasus. He wants to defend the Kaylin so badly, and Kaylin falling down to the Lee Sin after the Sonic Wave. Pick a card, picking up a kill on to the Nami. Looks like, ooh, Sonic Wave, there's the Fear of the Sands being used by the Lee Sin. Here, TF, he's just been on top, on point with the pick of cards, getting stun card after stun card, getting kill after kill. And that's a 2-for-2 after Dragon going down to after hours Aptimist. And it's so difficult for this Boeing team to actually get advantage of any of these fights. Lee Sin getting a kill onto the Kaylin, TF getting a kill onto the Nami. But then Nasus with the teleport, he's such a huge threat in these team fights. They know the time on his teleport, but they're really just not taking advantage of the fact that they have a numbers advantage, but they just don't want to pull the trigger. Swain, he has a Rod of Ages with a Seeker's Arm Guard in his inventory. The Zanya's Hourglass is going to help him tons and tons in terms of sustaining in these team fights. He'll just use his ultimate and then pop the Zanya's, and he'll be healing up while all of that's happening. It's going to be a great thing for them. Shaco just counter jungling Boeing's blue buff, taking that away from them right now. Kaylin, she's actually okay. So that's okay. So Kaylin actually, after getting the Avarice Blade, she's just gone for the Infinity Edge. So I guess she just wanted to get some sort of gold for 10 along with crit. Graves, on the other hand, he has a static shiv only right now. Nasus, he's taken down that top lane tower, and he should be able to get away. The slow is coming out from Swain, but the Wither is just much too stronger than that. Taking the tower, and even in a 2v1 situation, he'll be able to escape. Graves using the dash to dodge the Aqua Prison. That would have been a really bad situation for him to be in. Black Shield used by Morgana. They're going to have to wait a little bit for that to be up if they want to look for another fight. Kaylin, meanwhile, is in that bottom lane, so I don't think they'll be looking for a fight regardless. Right now, after Mr. 5 grouped together, they really They could have been looking for that fight, but Caitlyn joining the team now, it's going to be very, very risky. There's not a big objective. They have to do their best to push down towers, possibly get picks. Dragon's down. Baron is not a good call for them right now. It'll be so risky. And one, there's no vision control, and two, the entire enemy team is up. They have to catch them out on rotations, and TF now getting locked down by the Dark Binding. Aqua Prison was being Zanya's. Morgana using the Zanyas as well. The Soul Shackles wasn't able to get anyone down. Caitlyn, she does end up falling to that Swain. He falls as well. Buckshot, along with collateral damage, is doing a huge amount of damage. Nasus, though, he is such a huge threat, zoning away Graves from the Blitzcrank. Ooh, he does get Blitzcrank. Gets locked down by the Dark Binding, and that's a kill onto the Morgana. Nasus doesn't have any more mana, so he can't really continue chasing that Graves, and that's going to be a 3 for 4 in favor of After Hours Aptimists. That really wasn't really a great fight. That wasn't really the fight they were looking for. Graves can just farm up the minion wave. They can't really siege down that tower. They got to fight, but it really wasn't the fight they were looking for. Morgana just wasn't a huge threat. After getting the Dark Binding onto TF, the Soul Chains was used, but it didn't lock it down onto anyone. Tidal Wave was used as a great disruption tool, but then Caitlyn, she was left alone against the Swain. You can't leave your AD carry alone, especially against the Swain, even if he is quite a bit behind your top laner. You just really can't do that. After that fight's over, Morgana, that's actually very, very interesting. She's actually gone for, wow, Twin Shadows. So she just wants to get lockdowns. There goes the Never Move and the pick a card onto Nasus. That's going to force the flash, but there's the Blitzcrank getting the rocker grab. That should, he doesn't secure the kill. No, Swain actually falls to the Morgana Soul Shackles, and there's the, oh my god, Shaco with the kill right there. That's a 2 for nothing in favor of Optimus, and I thought Nasus would have been caught out right there, but he persevered, he lived, and the Graves, he's gonna have to, he's answering with that mid lane tower. Zanya's being used, looking all gold like, but he's gonna end up falling to the Morgana. That's a 3 for 0 in favor of Aptimists. Graves was able to take that inner tower in the mid lane, but that's really it right now. TF, he's down for another 30 seconds, and Dragon spawning. Optimists, they can take another dragon. This is going to be the 4th dragon for them, and it's looking really good. Taking that 4th dragon, it's going to give them extra damage to the towers, and that's really when the fight's going to be happen. Swain getting locked down by the Morgana Dark Binding. That's a threat that she needs to watch out for. They're not going to be killing that pink ward just yet. They're just going to take that tower. They're just going to take the dragon, giving them the timer right there. TF using the gate. He wants a kill on to the Morgana. Graves was looking for the kill. Now she's been caught out by the Blitzcrank. She's low on mana. Exhaust is being used as well. Ooh, rocket grab gonna be missed. Now Graves is in a bad position. He's gonna flash over the wall, but the Shiv is gonna take that kill. And here comes Aptimists, 4 members. They're gonna be pushing up down that mid lane. And Nasus, let's actually look at the Siphoning Strike. We haven't really looked at it in a while. 486. He's gonna take that fairly quickly. The Lee Sin Dragon's Rage was used, but they're going to continue the assault, doing so much damage. And Nasus, he's so tanky at this point that he'll be able to tank up the inhibitor towers for his team. Swain, just a tickle onto Nasus at this point. Shaco, he's going to fall for his teams, but taking the inhibitor tower and the inhibitor for that 1 kill is definitely worth it for Aptimists. Caitlyn, she needs to be careful though. It doesn't look as though she's going to be caught out after this. With the one inhibitor down in that mid lane, that's going to open up Baron for Aptimists. They can just push out that mid lane, get it to around the second tier tower, and then rotate over to that Baron, take it down so quickly. You have a Nasus, you have the Caitlyn. She has the Infinity Edge. She'll be going back. She should be able to pick up a static Shiv, but she is quite behind Graves. Right now, Boeing saving Grace is keeping Graves alive. If you look, Caitlyn, she has an Infinity Edge and a Phantom Dancer. Graves, on the other hand, Infinity Edge, Static Shiv, and a Last Whisper. So she's ahead in item. He's ahead in items. If they can keep him alive, if Blitzcrank can effectively peel the Nasus off of him, and Swain can just keep Shaco off of him, it's going to be... it'll do wonders for their team. Graves, having a red buff, he'll be able to kite it around, but they need pink wards. They need pink wards everywhere to spot out Shaco at any moment. Optimists, they're doing this Baron, and it doesn't look as though they'll be able to stop it. Lee Sin, he's on that bottom side, so there's no hope for a smite steal. They know he's there. I don't know why they're not doing it. There's a very minimal chance of them taking the kill. Looks like Nami, though. TF was caught out, and Nami picking up a kill onto TF, and now they're back onto the Baron. It's still at half health, though. Rocket grab is not going to secure the kill. Nami is going to be flashing away from the Swain, and there's the ace in the hole. That's another kill. 2 kills right now. And right now, Optimists, they have the Baron. It's looking really good for them. They take the Baron. There are super minions pouring into their base. They can easily win right now. Nasus answering the call to that bottom lane, but I don't know if that was the right call. I don't know if that was the right call. You're Baroned up. You have super minions pouring into their base. You can easily take down the tower with Swain dead. Rocket grab locking down onto Nami. She's gonna fall before the tidal wave even gets activated. And now Caitlyn, she's gonna get caught out. That's 2 Barons already taken down. After Hours Optimists, they have a huge advantage, but they're not taking advantage of it. They could have, if NASA had just stuck with the team, they could have easily taken out that tower, or they could have gone back, healed up, and then done it fresh. Either way, it was just a huge misplay by After Hours Optimists, giving away their lead at this point. And now Nasus, he's gonna get caught up. He's being put underneath the tower, but he doesn't care. Siphoning Strike is just gonna take kill after kill. And oh, Gate being used by TF. That's a 1-for-1 right now. Morgana for the Lee Sin. Nasus is just gonna be able to walk away from that fight, though. Optimists, they're being so greedy right now. They have a clear advantage. Lee Sin could be getting a Randuin's. That's gonna help him a lot with just surviving against the damage from Shaco and Nasus. But is it enough? If we look on the side of Blitzcrank, he has the Frozen Heart, but there's no magic resistance anywhere on the side of Boeing. Morgana, she's 13, 2, and 6, but they're not respecting it. They need to understand that she is going to be doing the most amount of burst damage, and if they can't survive that, what do they have? Dragon's going to be up in 10 seconds, and this will be the 5th dragon for Aptimists. They take that, and with the Baron buff, it'll be game over. There goes Blitzcrank being caught out by the Dark Binding, and she's going to fall. Dragon has spawned. Baron, they don't have time for a Baron and a Dragon at the same time, but with 5 dragons, it's easily game over already. Blitzcrank 30-second death timer on him. They need the minion wave though. They're not pushing with the minion wave. Nasus has gone back. And they're just going to be clearing out Boeing's mid lane wave. TF starting a push towards Aptimists' tower. But it won't do too much. The inhibitor tower falls. Blitzcrank is up. This is going to be a full 5v5 fight. But we have to remember that Aptimists, they have 5 dragons. All of their bonuses are doubled. And we have the fight. Soul Shackles being used. It's going to be, the Zanya is going to be popped out, but it's not going to hit lockdown onto anyone. Nasus, he actually might end up falling for the first kill for himself. Ace in the hole. It's going to be Zanya's by the Swain. Dark Bind, look at that. Almost full to 0 the TF, and that was just not a good fight for Aptimists. They lost 3 members with only 1 member dying on the side of Boeing. And no, spoke too soon. That was 2 members dying on the side of Boeing. But still, a 3 for 2 is a great momentum shift for Boeing. They're coming back into these fights. Graves just doing so much damage compared to Caitlyn. She cannot. I mean, not Caitlyn. Shaco just can't get caught out like that. They were all grouped together, and that allowed a beautiful never move along with Ravenous Flock from the Swain. So Baron is gone. And look, let's actually see if they have the dragon buff still. They don't have the dragon buff anymore. Dragon buff is gone. So what do? There's not a lot of options. They can start sieging down a side lane while the mid lane is pushing in. Flash being forced from Blitzcrank. He does not. No one wants to get caught out by a Dark Binding now. A Dark Binding means death at this point. Lee Sin pushing out that bottom side, but it's not gonna work out. There's a huge minion wave on the side of Aptimists pushing towards that inner tower. Looks like they're gonna rotate towards that spot right now, and Boeing, they may have to let this fall. They cannot get caught out. Shaco actually taking that tower. There goes the rocket grab, taking a kill onto Nami. Sonic Wave, he's jumping into the middle of the team though. He can't get the kick onto the Caitlyn, and that's just going to be him getting away. Blitzcrank, he's going to get locked down. Oh, he's in the hole. It's not going to even be dodged by, it's not going to even blocked by the Graves. They're just going to let him die right there. That's a 1-for-1 right now. And Shaco, she's on the sidelines. He does get rocket grabbed by the Blitzcrank. They have the vision of him. That's another kill. Graves, he's untouched. He has GA right now. He can be so aggressive, but they're not going in. Swain, he has Azanya's still available. But, oh my god, Nasus is not the right target. You want a rocket grab. They do take down the inner tower, but they lose 2 members for it. These fights are slowly starting to go in favor of Boeing. Aptimists, they were looking so good, but they keep giving kill after kill, and that's going to give a huge advantage over to the business class team. Baron has spawned. There's no vision coverage for either of the team around that Baron. Morgana, she's gone to the top lane to farm it up, and she should be able to take it though. Yeah, wow, why am I saying that? No, she will definitely be able to take it. I don't know why I thought she wouldn't be able to take it. But what I was gonna say is, Baron, I don't think Aptimists, they can go for it. Right now, business class, they're so powerful. Not as powerful, but at the 44-minute mark, and when these fights are going even, it's really just who's going to get caught out first, and then who can take advantage of it. It's really just a fact that can business class catch someone else and then win that fight. Nasus is a huge, huge threat, and if he's left unchecked in a team fight, he can easily win them the fight. He can easily just win that fight for them. They're setting up a death bush right now. Lee Sin making his way to that Baron. If he does go into that river, it's going to be so deadly. Neither of the teams want to go for it. Swain, though, no, he's going to hug the wall. Blitzcrank, is he going to get caught out? Oh, he does get the Aqua Prison's down onto him along with the Dark Binding. He's going to end up falling, and it's going to go over to the Caitlyn. Now, Boeing business class, they have to just back away. They can't continue fighting anymore. This is not a good spot for them to be in. They really did need the rocket grab to catch someone out. They're going to use the wild cards to just clear out the wave as best as they can. But now with the mid inhibitor falling again, after that was Aptimists, they're making movements towards that Baron. But with great vision coverage in their jungle, they'll know they're going for it. And since super minions haven't spawned immediately, it's looking really good for them. They're not going for it though. They're not going for it. They know that they're doing Baron, but they're not fighting for it. They're going towards Dragon instead, and that's a huge miscall. They can just poke them out. They don't have to look for a fight, but they can just poke them out. They're gonna go for the Dragon, trading Dragon for Baron. That's going to stop After Hours Optimus from getting the 5th Dragon again. For getting the 5th Dragon buff again. But was it the right call? They could have just poked them off of the Baron, just keep them off of it, and waited for Blitzcrank to spawn. But Optimus, they have the Baron now. Let's see if they make the same mistake. Are they going to just push down that mid lane and then end up dying over and over to the rest of the team? RVTR, he's gotten caught out by the Boeing business class. He's going to fall, and that is not a good sign. That is not a good sign. With Nasus down on a 70-second death timer, if Boeing business class looks for a fight right now, they will most guaranteedly win. Morgana is really the only other threat on the team. Shaco, he has just not been crucial in these team fights, going in at the most inopportune times, getting taken down so quickly. Even with the inhibitor down, Boeing business class, they have a great chance at winning the game. Full builds are close to we have full builds coming out in that mid lane. But the 80 carries, they're fairly close as well. Graves opting for lifesteal last, getting a GA instead of finishing the Bloodthirster. Caitlyn, she has that Bloodthirster for herself, so with that Negatron cloak, she'll most likely be getting the GA as well. And Nami with the Ardent Sensor, I'm not too sure about that right there. It's not really the most cost-efficient item, and it's a really lackluster passive. Caitlyn has so much attack speed already, and buffing it up only by a little bit, I don't think it's worth it. She has Static Shiv and a Phantom Dancer. Caitlyn actually does need a Last Whisper. That's a lot of armor that she needs to get through. Look at Blitzcrank with the Frozen Heart, Lee Sin with the Random Zomin, Swain and TF with Zanya's Hourglasses, and Graves with a Frozen and a Guardian Angel. Swain now, he gets caught out by the Morgana Dark Binding, and I think it's game over. With a 70-second death timer and Nasus finally joining the team, Boeing business class, they just couldn't do anything. They didn't do anything after Nasus fell, and it looks as though they've just accepted their fate. They're clearing the wave as best as possible. Caitlyn needs to get onto that tower though. With Nasus there, he can easily tank up the turrets. We have 2 GAs right now, Nasus and Shaco. They can easily just tank up any damage that's going to be coming in their direction. Swain is still on 40-second death timer. So it's still a 5v4. Lee Sin does get caught out by the Dark Binding, and Nasus now gets caught out with the Rocket Grab. Here comes the Tidal Wave getting the lockdown. She's going to be kicked away. The Nami's going to be kicked away. They need to just focus down this tower. Caitlyn, she's so low. They're just going to let this Graves live. They need to just let Graves live. He does end up falling. Caitlyn falls over to the Graves, but I think it's game over already. Swain's going to be up in 10 seconds. Graves is still alive. In a 2v4 situation, can they still win? Shaco, she doesn't have GA anymore. Dark Binding from Morgana is going to be a huge thing to watch out for. There goes the Spirit Fire by Nasus. Here comes Swain. I don't think they would do it. It looks as though this game's actually going to go over to After Hours Aptimists after a really excruciating game. 50 minutes in. It was so close, but they ended up taking the victory, and it was just a great game. I just don't think that both of these teams really didn't play to their best ability, and hopefully when we get to hopefully for next week, they pull out all the stops and really just bring it together. That's gonna be the end of this game. Please like, follow, and subscribe to the video below, and hope you guys have a great day.